Hi, guys. Welcome to By Chance or By God, the only channel for skeptics with an open mind. This channel is all about incredible stories where something unusual happens that changes someone's life. Your job is to tell me what you think. Did it happen by chance or by God? If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. This is episode number 4, and it's called The Latrine Story. I heard this story during a radio broadcast given by Ravi Zacharias. The main character is a man named Heon, who was Ravi's interpreter during the 4-month tour of Viet Nam in the early 1970s, where Ravi was preaching to soldiers and patients in military hospitals throughout Vietnam. In the 4 months, the two men built a strong friendship, and Heon loved God. Many years later, 17 years in fact, Ravi received a phone call from Heon. During that phone call, Heon told what had happened in the years after Ravi left Vietnam. I'm going to tell the story in the first person. After the communists took over, I was arrested and put in prison. They tried to knock faith in God out of me. They worked so hard to rebuild Marxism into me. Finally, I said, I'm not going to believe in God anymore. Ravi came to mind. I remembered his messages and how I ended some of those messages on my knees. And now I was deciding that maybe God did not exist. I told myself that in the morning I will not pray at all. I got up in the morning. I was assigned latrine duty. As I was cleaning the latrine, I saw a little bin with wet paper in it. And in that bin, I saw paper with English written on it. I hadn't read English for 18 months. Everything had been in Vietnamese or French. I took that paper. There was excrement on it. I took that paper, washed it off, and put it in my hip pocket. I just wanted to read English. I got back to my room that night. Everyone had fallen asleep. I got out my flashlight and focused it on the piece of paper, which was still damp. On the top right corner it said Romans 8:28, and I read, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." I wept and wept. I couldn't stop weeping. I said, God, you did not let me out of your reach for one day. I promised I would not pray today, but the day has not ended, and you have spoken to me in this paper here that was used as toilet paper. I went to the commander the next morning and asked if I could do latrine duty again today, please. Every day I was collecting a page from the New Testament. The commanding officer had been given a Bible by somebody. He was using it for toilet paper and throwing it into the bin. I was washing it, and I was having my devotions at the end of each day. Finally, I was let out of prison, but still trapped in communist Vietnam. I managed to build a boat and plan my escape. 4 Viet Cong came to my door and asked if I was planning to escape. I lied to them and said no, and they left. After they left, I said, here I go again, trying to build my life on my own terms. I lied, God. I prayed a prayer that I hoped would never be answered. I said, God, if you want me to tell the truth, bring them back before we set sail. There were 53 of them planning to escape. Minutes before the departure, the 4 Viet Cong came back, rammed me against the wall and said, we heard you were planning to escape. Is that true? I said, yes. What are you going to do? Put me back in jail? They said, no, we want to go with you. And we got into the high seas and were nearly drowned. But these 4 men were trained in skippering ability and brought us safely to Thailand. I then came to the United States and am living out my life in California. After all he had been through, Heon says this, no matter how far God seems from you, don't ever forget that his love is close enough to reach you in your darkest moment. I feel him as intimately close anywhere now, whether it's in prison or in business. At his right hand are pleasures evermore. The intimacy he gives you is so beautiful and pure. No seduction the world has to offer will ever come close. Yes, there are principles, and only He is big enough to give you true pleasure that you may hear His voice. What do you think of this story? What are the chances that on the day he decided there is no God and promised not to pray, God showed up in a scrap of paper used as toilet paper? Or that when he was told the Viet Cong, the armed communist political organization in South Vietnam, that he was escaping the country, they didn't put him in jail, but came with him, and their navigating ability saved him from death on the high seas? What do you think? Was it by chance or by God? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for listening.